Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Assassin's Creed Revelations. So we are in a good point to skip out and do the next Animus Island puzzle, because I think that's kind of all I can do right now. The last book is in a locked location, I believe, that I can't reach. And then the main story memory is here. And frankly, if we just don't do these Animus Island things, they're gonna pile up. They're not good. Some, including myself, would call them total garbage that should have been left on the cutting room floor. Very possibly were left on the cutting room floor for as long as maybe Assassin's Creed 2. They were trying to integrate something like this. Desmond's Journey, and the game launches a completely different executable. I don't really understand why it needs to do that.
Memory sequence archived.
I don't know why it needs to do that with
Warning.
multiplayer.
Memory leak detected. Recalibrating Animus idle parameters.
So,
back to work when the sun goes down. Brooklyn JMZ into the city. Transferred Washington Square down to the Triangle.
so what do these lasers do? Do they cut the paths, or yes, they do cut the path. So, while probably nobody would remember this, interesting. They also kill me. Desmond was working as a bartender when he was captured. So go. Just kind of run. And all these are little pictures.
Rising from below like the living dead. Into the sun, the light shocking my eyes. Walking those 10 minutes between the subway and the bar always felt so good. But that feeling never lasted. Some days the city's a vampire. It steals all your best moments. They come and go in seconds and fade away.
New York.
You end up remembering only the worst.
Like you're pretty safe in this take. Go. See, this may be very simplistic. I don't know how you could really take this any further, though. As a puzzle, they limited themselves way too much when they introduced just these two shapes. Honestly, there should be 4 to 6 more different types of shapes, but I don't know what those shapes would be either. And if there's some kind of crazy Easter eggs other than the multiplayer emblems in this, I don't see it.
Tending bar at bad weather. I just walked in and they handed me a shaker. Took me on for my ravishing looks. I think the owner had a little crush. My winning smile.
Hey, what's that drink you invented?
I laughed at my past, laughed at my family, joked about everything. Even the end of the world.
Had it last time?
Shirley Templar?
Surely Templar, what's in it?
The usual. I just had some gin.
Right on! Photos!
So he called the drink the Shirley Templar. Interesting. And it does feel like there might be some kind of puzzle that they were going to do where you're supposed to line up the lines of light. And we've just got all kinds of barriers. This is just a straight up maze. And there's a symbol we haven't seen since Assassin's Creed 1, and it didn't really play any real role in the story at all. It was just something that was etched on the side of a mountain by one of the ancient Mexican, South American, not Mexican, but South American societies, that they would put giant carvings on the sides of the mountains so that we can only figure you can see by helicopter or very high place. Things we can't go through these. These are just for appearance. So do we want to just jump? Or do we want to take this nice and slow? It's kind of changing the rules on you again. It's very possible that if I did just jump, I would make it all the way to the bottom on one jump. Ooh. Why did I take any damage there? Well, I guess I wouldn't have made it. It's a little confusing why I took any damage, since I'm right now not supposed to be anything but a floating...
There was a big dream floating out there.
No feet?
And every night I saw people dreaming it. I don't know how they did it. It takes as much money to smile as to pay rent in this place.
Okay. What are we doing? Are we just walking? Alley. There's a spot I need to activate. And are these eyes that are looking at us? So maybe I need to climb up higher? Or maybe I'm just gonna leave. This feels like a club atmosphere. Well, that's at least something very dynamic. Wasn't expecting that.
The more I missed my family, the more I hated myself for it. I told myself I wanted a new family. I wanted to start over.
What are we doing? Come on, what are we doing here? I guess we're jumping over. Get to this point. That's going to be rather irritating if it turns out that I just want to quit this after spending the extra effort to do this section. And I just don't know if my head
Hey, Des, you going to the after party?
was starting to hit that laser.
Nah, I'm a little out of it. Lights, action, bass drum. Mind-numbing. 124 beats per. Twice the speed of a beating heart.
So he's not a fan of high-tempo music. I do believe I'm supposed to be going upward here. And I can't really get a good angle because I'm looking from a first-person perspective, which is, I guess maybe that's the thing. That's the thing that Assassin's Creed's main engine can't handle, is doing a first-person perspective game. Which that seems insane.
So where are you from?
He was raised in a cult or something like that. You know, out west.
My parents were conspiracy freaks. They live off the grid, in the woods.
Seriously?
God, they all look so good. Girls in their skirts, batting eyes, beads of sweat. Everyone was so beautiful in those flashing lights.
I don't know what's going on. It seems like it's a big wave form.
You want to dance?
I was a new man, born again. Alone, but alive. Trying to forget.
Come on.
Seems like there was something
Let
down,
go, Desmond.
down here. That
Just let it go. Forget it.
Again, we get back to him being raised in effectively a cult, and not really have any good examples of relationships. Or about to die. Well, we already got the collectibles, so we can deal with that later. Well, we don't have to deal with it. That's what it's. Dancing disco lights all across the room. Second tries to turn. Now everything's going black because one assumes that he was drugged and kidnapped to the Animus and the Templars location. Oh wow. We've just crossed from being in a puzzle room to the real world. Wow. I'm not sure I ever did these elements before. So he's like crossing over to a darkened area. Like, would these guys hit me? Nope. I could have just walked. Interesting. Let's walk through these. I have a bit of an affinity for walking the long way through doors. You just hit a wall. And a bunch of health. this far on the outside. So it's just a very black, very dark square. So it would be the craziest reveal ever if we ended up in the real world running around doing our Animus things in the last section of gameplay for this, but that is like not gonna happen. It's already been done, first of all, but they couldn't possibly hide even a small tiny city behind this last one. Like, that doesn't make sense. And then there is the thought that this is my corrupted memory of recent times and we won't ever get to access that, or that was perhaps some DLC that was supposed to come about. If I'm actually going to be able to turn on cheats, which this may be the first game where you can turn on cheats when you replay a memory, but then again it might be that you could have done that in Assassin's Creed 1 and I just never went back and tried, because that seems like once I was done with Assassin's Creed, I was done with Assassin's Creed. Where? I can see it on the map, but I can't see it in the bigger map. There's a Sophia memory, probably the last Sophia memory. There's also the last 3 treasure chests to collect, which that might unlock something. It should. Again, I'm being overly energetic climbing these walls, wasting my time. I would like to find the tailor. If I could find one of those and buy some more parachutes, that would be nice. But not really necessary because... Right. How close do I have to get to this guy before I can lock on him? Bullets, skunk oil, that's all he had on him. I was hoping for crossbow bolts, but you may not actually be able to use those or acquire those. I'm really surprised how highly rated these games were at the time. Looking back on the second playthrough, and you really can't ever, I suppose, expect people to play a game this big 2 or 3 times over their lifetime and come back with a review at that point, but so much effort is wasted to put in this open world and make that the game they're selling, and so little effort is put into making the story interesting or desirable to play, particularly in Revelations, but not just Revelations. Like, it's been a consistent problem with the Assassin's Creed series. Assassin's Creed 1 was probably still the best written game. It has the least open world elements. It clearly was using the open world as a story and plot device, whereas 2 apparently they got some feedback that they didn't like the fact that you were locked out of certain sections for the beginnings of most of the games. Most of the beginning of the game, that they just made everything practically open world, and that's how we started here. Almost 100% of this map was accessible from the word go. Let's see. There's a bookstore. If we go to the bookstore and we don't have any books to purchase, then we can turn the bookstores. There should be one more book to purchase, but it might not actually be a book that we purchase. It might be
I will surely have something more to your liking next time.
it might be a book we collect in this mission. Go ahead and buy medicine, not that we really need it.
A bit of rest.
So books and medicine. Let's go ahead and turn those off. Doctors off. Bookshops off. Black market dealers off. Perilous can stay on for all I care. Ferries, landmarks, fight clubs, thief buildings, mercenary buildings, Romani buildings, and assassin's dens we'll leave on. And tunnel entrances we'll leave on. All those off. All of those off. And bomb crafting, let's turn that off too. It is crazy that we spend any amount of time organizing the map and it just doesn't save the settings. That's just a straight up bug. Like, that's not the intent of the game creators, and if it is, it's an inexcusable intent of the game creators to make you reset your preferences every time. Well, pretty much every time anything happens. Let's see. Here it is. The last location of a book, or the entrance to a last location of a book. Actually, I'm not sure which it is. I guess it's just a book with the key in it, right? Aesop Fables. The Maiden Tower is now unlocked. Yes, that's what I thought. We had to do the Maiden Tower. What's that guy doing there? Like, here's a question. If I was to move the mouse, that won't work. If I was to press on the keyboard, that won't work. Targeting on this is way too sensitive. Way too sensitive. I'm just barely tapping it and I'm going a good 15 degrees. And even in my best effort, I can't get anywhere close. So, can we see on the map our choices of where we're gonna go now? We are here. We could probably fast travel. The final book location, however, is over here. So if I was to fast travel, there's actually no fast travel location that's any closer. So, to this bank. And we'll pull out money. so that we can afford the last few weapons that are available for sale. Still trying to get that challenge that will never get done of free sprinting for 300 yards. No, I'm a little surprised Ubisoft never got smart with this and suggested that they created a like open editor or mod support for a game like this. You know, Assassin's Creed with mods probably could have been a similar to Skyrim experience. It's the general fantasy ideas are pretty much the same. But if there was a level editor, and then they tried to get other people to make other worlds, that really does seem like something Ubisoft might have thought of doing. I guess we got lucky and it never occurred to them. Wouldn't have turned out well. If somebody made a New York level, then somebody else would have made a different New York level. And who knows if any of them would have been any good. So we are halfway through all the armor. And that's not going to be better than what we had before, which was the Assassin's Armor, so I've just de-equipped the Assassin's Armor. I can't equip this? Why can't I purchase this? Oh, because I've spent all the money. Somehow, still spent all the money. The Butcher's Knife was one of the best weapons in the previous game, so there's still 2 more things to do. Crossbow bolts, we'll buy some more of those. And
goodbye, sir. Hope to see you again.
so my armor's down a little bit.
Requires a degree of secrecy, yes, but also a willingness to.
So I'll probably need one more drop in the bucket as far as, let's see, each one of these reduce your notoriety by 15, I believe. Like there's still a lot of dies to try to. I don't know if I'm really going to try them all. There's also a larger parachute pouch that I can't afford, and a medium quiver that I can't afford, and a knife belt upgrade. Again, let's buy some parachutes though. That's what we came here for. So we need more money. Still. Seems odd. Hey, let's test this. Can we burn ourselves on fire? No. This might be a good area to free run too for 300 yards. Just find yourself a nice central location. Best I could guess, Sophia's gonna be off on her trip, and that's gonna be the end of her. Or we are going to ride out to a new level, or a side thing. I guess we are riding out to a new level. I don't think the 5 or so like maybe, yeah, it would have been 5 or so missions like this are the wrong number. I just think they're not integrated very well. It's very possible that, well, I don't think you could skip this, but it feels like you could miss it. Honestly, you couldn't miss it. Otherwise, you're just not going to finish the game. But you might be able to play all of the main memories and not do any of these in the first place. So there's something about timing. We're in a rather different area. Like, no longer are we in an Ottoman Empire style world where we're back in the Rome with different types of walls, different types of doors, and I assume they want me to go up. I assume this is going to be a little bit complicated and difficult. Find a way to access the tower's lower chambers. Oh, I thought I was going for the higher chambers. It's a different type of key with the same animation. At least in that case, that looked pretty good. So why didn't they just use that animation for everything? Seems like a complicated system of weights and measures. Oh yes, these guys. We haven't used these guys at all. So these levers must have been programmed into Brotherhood very late in development, and since both of these games were equally developed at the same time, it feels, they only get integrated at very, very late here. We have not used a switch at all, whereas Brotherhood definitely used switches, and I'm pretty sure even Assassin's Creed 2 had switches of some sort. Yeah, that is just downright crazy. And I just failed full synchronization. Hey, but we have a treasure map, so we don't need to worry about that. Let's try that again. Actually, I need to try something different, I think. It's kind of crazy that the hidden eagle vision doesn't actually help you. When you're trying to climb anywhere, you don't see paths, you don't see anything at all that would even begin to explain or imply that there was a different way to go. See, and I think this might just be up high enough so that I could then do a back jump on the map. I would prefer, in a scenario like this, for the game to just desynchronize me and then really quickly load me back to right in front of the switch. But then they show the animation of the switch, which that takes some time too, so perhaps skip that element too. We've got some different music playing. And why does the game always do this? I have no idea what this is. We've never seen a handle like that before. It just pulls it. I guess assassins aren't too big into traps. so they dip down to drain the area, which means that this area was always intended to have water in it. Like usually when you see areas like this with area in it, like with water in it, you kind of assume that was just groundwater that seeped in and not intentional design. But then again, Altair could have easily built this place with the help of the apple. Although the apple that they have seems to only have the power to cause illusions. Well, at least it did at the beginning. They kind of changed what it did later on. I think, maybe? Did they change what it did, or did they change to a different apple? The idea that there would be 2 apples, 3 apples, 4 apples, and only one of them perhaps is the apple of Eden. Not totally insane. I guess. Probably screwed up. So maybe one of the cheats is no time limit. Maybe one of the cheats is you can't take any damage or die. Beyond those 2 ideas as far as a cheat that you could have enabled during the replay from memory, I don't know what else you do. Eliminate all the enemies from spawning? That would be hard to program because some enemies are necessary for the goal. I still do not know where this jewel is. This treasure chest. I suspect it might just be in the very middle, and it might be the last thing we need to do. Go. One assumes I was supposed to go up and not down. Seconds. Plenty of time, although I did just nearly bone that. Look, they even made a different animation for it. Which you use both hands and his feet. I guess they knew that the key would just always be safe. Even in water. There's no fish or anything. Guess we're going this way. Now that they introduced this, if they hadn't done these switches, I would have not even remembered that they were in the previous 2 games. But because they did do the switches, I'm rather disappointed that there weren't some kind of switch mechanic in all of the rest of the like 4. Well, will this work? To our advantage or not? Got all kinds of things everywhere. I don't know if I'm gonna have to start over or what. Yep, I'm gonna have to start all over. Attempt number 2. I suppose the good news is I didn't have to wait that long. And I assume it gave me a minute before, and it's not taking pity on me and increasing the time. All right. So from this point, I was supposed to jump, and then from this point, I was supposed to jump, and then from this point. Oh, seriously? Seriously, game? I got 21 seconds. Can we do it? What are you doing? Do it! No! Get it! Irritating. I don't know why it's not working. It didn't work. 3 different times it didn't work. Maybe I need... Let's go ahead and put our Assassin's Blade on. Maybe I need to just jump without being in high profile mode? That doesn't make sense. I still feel like the audio on this is really misbalanced. I didn't really do anything to the audio on games. I try not to nowadays. I instead just try to leave the balance all the same. Right, that didn't work. Is there something higher I can jump to? No. Is there... I don't see a pattern or a path. To me, that seems like that's what I'm supposed to do. And it seems like there's plenty of time to do that. Maybe what I need to do is not press forward. I will line it up. I'll take my thumb off the left stick. Clearly they should have tested for this. I shouldn't be having this problem. Alright, well that didn't quite work. Swing fast. We have 35 seconds to still try and save the day. I'm gonna go this way and jump. Now you gotta press forward. So maybe I pull backwards a little bit when I jump. Oh, alright. I climb up here and jump. I caught it with my hook shot. I didn't think for a second that was what I was supposed to do. But that's what worked. And here we have a third switch element. That doesn't really make any sense. And he kicks the switch. This is a very well thought out puzzle. I have no idea how this ended up in this game. Like, this feels like somebody's baby of a project. Game, could you not just put like an assassin symbol somewhere? So I can know which way to go? Instead of just having to assume that I'm supposed to jump forward. Just once in a while. Give me some breadcrumbs. Tell me what to do. Yes, this is like an amazingly good DLC. Arguably, maybe this was the only part of this game that actually needed to be played. You could have released all 5 of the puzzles like this and made a smaller game, gotten rid of the open world, saved that for Assassin's Creed 3, which goes in a very different direction and is set in North America. We're going to now loot these. These very possibly are the last 3 loot chests in the game that matter. Let's just wait a second, see if anything unlocks. No. No map available, whatever. DNA. Way over here for other memories. We have all these treasures. Oh, actually, yeah, we still have Cappadocia, or Cappadocia, or whatever it is. Kind of in a weird way, now you have all the keys, the game's over. Like, you don't need to play the main story. Well, I guess maybe I only have 4 of them. So maybe the last key is in the hands of the Templar. Yes, the last key is in the hands of the Templars, and that's the only way the story even integrates with the rest of the story. It's very strange, though, that the Maiden's Tower is just this... Like... Where are we? We are way up here. Let me ask on the inventory. How much do I have in the bank? Nothing. So yeah, it's rather strange that you went here and it just took you somewhere else. It's also kind of big, odd that how large this area is. So do we do Sophia's memory or do we do the other thing? And I think we hope the game doesn't crash and we do Sophia's memory. It is an awkward game flow to have to go to a specific viewpoint, then use your eagle vision to view from that viewpoint where there are several Marco Polo signs, to then find where to use that the correct Marco Polo sign, that you then find the book, and then finding the book you then can go and collect the key. It's rather convoluted. Throughout this whole process, I've consistently misremembered it, that you just find the book and the key is in the book. It has never been that case. The books actually don't make any sense. Also not making any sense, the fact that this is the only one of these in the entire game. As far as I can see. That's the only one. And that's from the multiplayer. And I guess by working on multiplayer they did create content that could have been integrated into a single player, but clearly it wasn't. So that's not a good implementation of your workforce. At least in my opinion. Maybe it did make more money because people didn't sell back their game used. Although on an Assassin's Creed game, if this was a good one, people wouldn't have been able to sell back their game used anyways, because they would have still been playing it in whatever 60 to 90 days grace period you might have. Let's see, sticky pouch with Arabian gunpowder, with this, a bunch of these. Just make some bombs. That way at least I have something equipped. I've done all of the assassin, master assassin missions, but that doesn't directly stop you from wanting to get these last few people at the highest rank possible. Let's see. Can I get this guy to do a level 3 without dying by himself? Yes. Take all that experience.
Thanks to you, we grow ever stronger.
We've got all kinds of weapons that still aren't purchased. I'm gonna go ahead and equip that. And
My respect, man.
this is the... Is this our current outfit, or... Like, you have 2 sets of armor that are at the maximum. It seems really crazy. I also don't get why there's a hot pink sash on all of these.
Mentor.
We've started to buy this last one. Where are we with the books? We had these 2. And this one is yet another one we've collected. So we've gotten all the books. Time to interact. He doesn't even write anything to Claudia or say anything this time. You know, Ezio saw the ancient alien Juno and some of that
screams
stuff.
in his sleep, calling out for his father.
Abbas, what a miserable man.
It is not our place to judge.
It certainly is.
So, like,
if our master has
Ezio
gone
kind
mad,
of
I
knows
would
that
like to know.
Juno is real and she was
Good
talking
evening.
to somebody in the future, but he really doesn't know
Of course.
that much.
Sit.
But he also didn't ever really research it
Many
or try to learn anything. And here we have
What brings you
Altair.
here, old man?
Pity Abbas. Do not mock him. He has lived as an orphan for most of his life, shaped by his family's legacy. He is desperate for power.
These assassins look like
because
modern
he is
assassins, but they aren't.
powerless.
He is our mentor. And unlike Al-Mualim or Altair, he never betrayed us.
Nonsense. Altair was no traitor. He was driven out. Unjustly.
Is it you? I heard the rumors, but I did not believe them.
I wonder if I might speak to Abbas myself. It's been a long time.
So we're getting
Impossible.
more of that
Abbas uses
story.
rogue Fedayeen to keep us from the castle.
Fewer than half the fighters here are true assassins.
His fingers
So,
still missing, of
Where
course.
do I begin?
With us.
So, in a very short speech, he's just convinced these assassins to help him. And true sync is.
You say these men are cruel. Has anyone raised his blade against an innocent?
Alas, yes. Brutality seems to be their sole joy.
Then they will die, for they have compromised the order. But those who still live by the creed must be spared.
You can trust in us.
So,
About the boss and his
kill the
mentor?
guards without alerting anyone else.
People say an old assassin saved the life of a merchant down in the valley.
So here's the deal.
They
He's
say
got
he
the
fought
double
with a
assassin's
hidden
blade,
blade.
which I don't think Altair
True
was supposed to
or
ever
not,
have.
Say nothing to our boss.
And
He is sick with paranoia.
and he's old as get out. As old as dirt.
Leave this place.
I didn't get a prompt on the puppeteer system for that, by the way.
Altair is here. In the village? Send word to the castle, quickly. Assassins! To me!
And so I'm just too slow.
You there? Do I know you?
Like, he's just walking slowly. And that's all this is multiple times. There was a glitch. We've come in Mysif and done missions in a very weird and awkward way.
Mentor.
Welcome.
Shh. I do not want to get him killed.
So, as time passed, the true assassins decided that they don't want they don't want the leadership.
You are nothing without that artifact. Nothing! You pathetic miser. Stand down or die.
Counter kill.
You could have been spared, friend.
I am not your...
Follow me to the castle, and spill no blood if you can help it.
So it seems like Altair is taking over the place, and this really is a nice experience of establishing a brotherhood again, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for Altair. All of the story doesn't make a lot of sense. Feels like Altair is either dying of old age or he might have been poisoned. Oops. Apparently I wasn't supposed to kill that guy. Who cares? Let's see. Oh, Altair is hallucinating and seeing.
Altair. 2 decades have passed since we last saw you within these walls.
So he's seeing things with his eagle vision that are like hallucinations.
We could use your wisdom. Now more than ever.
Ah, and see, he was marked as a enemy, and he turned into a friend in that conversation. And the tree's grown larger.
Kill him! Kill him
Probably
now!
larger than he should.
What are you waiting for? You fools! He has bewitched you!
Our mentor has returned!
And see, this is cool because everybody is now saluting you. And we have left bump.
I fight for you.
If we need to call for help.
For the order.
Mentor.
Welcome home.
Altair.
And see, the idea here is to disarm these guys.
Altair.
And if you just arm them,
Always in on them.
they will not fight you anymore.
Die!
Mentor. Together for victory, Mentor.
That was cool. But who's to say he isn't using the apple? That at this point he hasn't integrated the apple's power directly into himself. So he doesn't even
Tell
have
your
to
men
hold
to
it.
stand down.
No! I am defending Mashaf!
Seems like Abbas
not
looks
do the
younger,
same?
a lot younger
You
than
corrupted
Altair.
everything we stand for and lost everything we gained. All of it sacrificed on the altar of your own spite.
And you have wasted your life staring into that apple, dreaming of your own glory.
Yeah,
That
if
is
the
true,
apple
Abbas.
did teach
I
the
learned many things from the apple. Of life
did
and
teach
death,
him anything,
of the past
it really didn't
and the
change
future.
that much.
Let me show you.
Pistol. Oh, press left trigger to lock on an enemy, hold Y to release. So he has a gun that I can just use, which definitely Altair should not have a gun or the double blades. And we'll probably get a classic
I can never forgive you, Altair.
ending
The lies
assassination.
told about my family, my father, the humiliation I suffered.
They were not lies, Abbas. I was 10 years old when your father came to see me. He was in tears, begging to be forgiven for betraying my family. Then he cut his own throat. I watched his life ebb away at my feet. I will never forget that image.
This would be a good story,
But he was not a coward, Abbas.
but we needed more of it.
I hope there is another life after this one. Then I will see him and know the truth of his final days. And when it is your time, we will find you. And then there will be no doubts.
He doesn't do a rest in peace. They didn't even do that. No rest in peace. No, not a very good speech.
An old man, and still he fought to hold our brotherhood together. I would have called him stubborn in my youth, but now I can only admire his courage. The assassins were his life, from beginning to end. He had no other.
And perhaps that's the message that these are really trying to tell you, is where Altair failed to have a life outside of the Assassin's Brotherhood. Maybe Ezio will learn to have a life outside of him, outside of it, which would be nice. I suppose in the previous memory, not the one we just saw, but the one before that, the wife couldn't have been pregnant. There had to be children because the DNA was passed on to Desmond. So even though the first son was killed, the second son survived, which probably that was Desmond's ancestor, one would think. Maybe. So where are we on the map? That's kind of the only thing we need to do is, like I said a couple hours ago, we are pretty well forced to play the main story now. There's nothing else that can be done. We are on sequence 7, I believe? No, 6. There's one more memory to do that will finish this sequence. That will take us to the final area. And we've done as much as I think we'd ever do, unless there was some kind of way in which I could replay memory with a cheat that would guarantees 100% sync, then leave that memory and quickly get 100% sync that way. And even if I was gonna do that, I'm not sure why I would do that, because it may get me like a few more Uplay bucks, and that's it. The last 12 Animus Status fragments are in the next area, and the last 12 chests are in the next area. Which, sure, when we get to the next area, we will probably spend another 2 to 3, maybe even 6 hours in that section. But then we're going to be done with this game, and I'm going to have to, once again, kind of even after Assassin's Creed 2, I kind of needed to sit back and think, do I want to really continue down this path and continue to play Assassin's Creed games? Anyways, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me, give me a game on Steam. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.